toying with some new gadgets here. Oh, wouldn't say I'm toying. I'm actually pretty excited to be on this thing. I'm on the Old Town ePDL for the first time. Well, let's talk about the kayak more as we go. One thing at a time. I need to get used to it first. I'm on speed 3 right now. This is pedal assisted. 3.5 miles an hour. No effort. Let's bump it up to 4. Okay, 4. Really relaxed. It doesn't feel like I'm going 4 miles an hour. That's what's kind of weird. So now I'm taking over manually. Right now, I think that's what I'm going to do a lot of. So I'm going to get somewhere I might want to fish. I'm going to do the manual takeover. All right, I like that start right there. Got a bite on just an F around day. What was supposed to be an F around day. Holy crap, we got a creek something. Creek fish. Striped bass. It's a creek something. All right, so I got flamed for cutting my last tag off a fish last year, but see, the reason I cut the tags is my cell phone is deep in my pockets. I don't pull out my cell phone to fish with me. I don't take pictures. So really the best way to do this all is going to be cut the tag here after I get this fish into the kayak. If I get this fish into the kayak. On that barefoot jig, we're going to approximate that's a 21 or 22 inch fish, right? You guys okay with that? Well, I don't want to not measure him 50 times, just a little, you know, a little easier on the fish. I'll just say that's a 20 to 21. Plus this tag is pretty beat up. Anyway, well, got a tagged fish. The first fish is tagged. You know the deal. Creek bends, man. Creek bends. Creek bends are always good. Creek bends got a lot of gar. The cuckoo can't jig apparently right now. I had a bite there. It's 51 right now. Cool, on the cooler side. I'm guessing there's going to be quite a few of these schoolie striped bass where we're at, but that's okay. That one's not that bad actually. Yeah, that's a good fish. I mean, he ain't giant, but that's a high 20-inch fish. Yeah. Got 15-pound leader on here, so we're gonna net this fish here. It's not a bad start. We might lose her though. On a gar here too. Rock fish in this region. What you're gonna hear. Yeah, buddy. Second fish on the Old Town. That's a good one too, man. So these striped bass they're definitely not landlocked, but they don't really tend to show migratory patterns like most other striped bass do. Well, that's a nice fish, man. Yeah, really nice one. Let's get you out of here. was a pretty good striper, man. He was sitting on the edge of that gar. This bait right here is this is a 4-inch Kevin Van Dam, I don't know, one of these split tail shads. That's on a 3/8 ounce barefoot jig. That's a local dude out of North Carolina. He makes some really cool jig heads. They've got a really nice horizontal presentation. I do like his light tackle stuff for that. See my fish finder right there? I'm sure I don't have to zoom in or anything. That's all gar. All right, we'll come back to this. Let's just keep covering ground, playing with this stuff. Getting too focused on the fishing, honestly, versus using the kayak. I don't know what my goal is out of this. I think my goal should just be to have a good time, actually. All right, let's run it at 5 for a while. That's like it. That's it. You're flying. Flying on power 5 right now. Doing steady. I've got maybe a ½ mile an hour current, maybe less. Doing 5.2 miles an hour. No effort. It takes a minute to get used to how to work your pedals like this, your feet. So the last thing I want to do is, since there's no resistance, it feels like you're on a bicycle that you're just flying in reverse. Now I feel like I'm making the #1 mistake. What just went through my brain while I'm thinking about all this is I'm going to start making the mistake is running over fish to find fish. That is like one of the biggest angling errors you can do, in my opinion. It's an interesting kayak. I think this is for a lot of people who've owned fishing kayaks. You might just like the idea of a little more mileage or a little less bodily work. It's not a fair comparison to the autopilot in this last 20 minutes I was thinking about. It's more a comparison to the big water 132s, the Outback. It doesn't feel like an autopilot. Like I'm not lounging around, you know, eating breakfast. Like I'm still kind of in the kayak a bit more. Yeah, it's. I don't think this is a first-time kayak owner's kayak. I mean, it can be, like anything, but I feel like this would be, let's say if I was on the big water 132 or Predator for a long time, that older PDL. I did like the sound of extra speed, but keeping it the same, this one might be for you. I don't want to hype squad, man. I don't want to be a shill, you know. For the most part, I've liked all of O-Town's products besides I think it was the Top Water 120. I didn't like the Top Water 120. I was kind of critical of it. Even after my critical feedback on the Top Water, they still continue to work with me. So it is quieter than the autopilot, though. Like, sure, there's a little bit extra noise, but like what I'm hearing through the water, there's pluses and minuses to everything, man. Pretty much immediately, as soon as I get to a fishing area so far, I've taken over manually. Probably head out and do see if we can find some drum, push down another mile or two. The grass changed a little bit, so sometimes I'm always curious, what's the big catalyst? Is it bait? Is it salinity? Like, is it these small details, like going to this kind of more saltwater-based grass? That's part of the fun. Is that finger mullet? That's crazy. There's still some finger mullet left. It's been a while since I've been in here. This looks like prime bowfin habitat and alligator habitat. Good thing we don't have to worry about those right now. This looks real bowfin-y to me. Hot water's really cool in here. Okay. Taking it back. It's a big channel cat, I think. Okay, I guess we've changed our ecosystem now. Once again, channel cat. Gonna take my crab chunk back too. Yeah, it's a channel cat. Decent one. Like I said, big no-no to eating them here. Creek probably has a lot of big cats in it, is my guess. Maybe not all big, but I'm sure there's a few big ones in here. Oh, red drum. Whoa. Guess shouldn't be that surprised, but that's cool. And he was deep too. Small red drum in here. It's pretty cool. Guess this creek might be kind of a nursery. Wouldn't surprise me. It's a little guy though. Nice little. It's a fun adventure for another day, but I don't want to spend too much time up in here. What is that? Striped bass? Yeah. Fun things, lots to keep busy with. I figure I always find the creek ones. So, well, that first one this morning was a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. You usually expect the creek ones to be a little on the smaller side. I'm going to fish for the barefoot. This little jig tears it up in here. I'm already about 3 miles from my launch, so I'm going to head out of this creek now and work my way back to where I came out of. I left a lot of fish to find fish, but I also don't want to go too far. So I think I got kind of an idea. Maybe I'll do 1-2 passes where maybe I think I might have a bigger catfish than that one. Okay, let's keep going. Battery's still completely charged. Fought some hard current, I really did. It seemed like 6.3 is as fast as I'm getting. 6.4, something like that. I'm gonna make one nice long drift through here and then start working my way back in. A fast current. Okay. Being very large. A lot of these smaller reds, they don't seem to mind the cold. It's like my experience. The larger ones do tend to sometimes peace out for a minute. The small ones, they just seem fine. Barefoot jig gets it done. We found a couple better ones here. They are moving. Also, the water is warming up quite a bit. We got a 15-pound leader on there. Let's go full kook. Finally beat my first sturgeon. No, it's not. I'm joking. Nice red. That's good. It's a really good one. I get used to the deck space on this kayak though. It's not quite like the Hobie and not quite like the autopilot. Big fish definitely takes up a lot of room. Gotta keep in mind reds can survive in freshwater too. They don't want to live in there if the water's nasty. Nice red there. Good fish, man. A nice red drum right there. Huh? Let's let her go. The best part, right? This current's 2 miles an hour. I could just zip right back up. Oh, with a little bit of effort, but not too much. But let's untangle our jig first. Did a couple passes jigging, no good. But plenty of frozen crabs. Here. Nice red drum. A little on the lethargic side, but you guys are biting. A lot of current too. It's crazy. I think sometimes it's just like a certain fish will just float around. Took a minute for that bite too, but let me see if I can get back on it right now. Probably give us a couple more drifts, then go back in the creeks and call it a day from there. You know, a couple of things that are interesting on speed 5, you really can't multitask. You got to concentrate on, you know, can't tie knots or fiddle around or move around. You just got too much speed, so it's not like the autopilot. You can. This is still kind of more like a kayak, like an older, you know, kind of old school kayak. It's my first impression of it. It's like, you know, got to pay attention. You know, the Big Water 132, it's a super stable platform, but if you're not used to it, it's not that forgiving either. All right, I lost the 1 battery bar finally. I did a lot of miles and just 3/4 of my batteries left. And it's cold out. So 2 things going on here. Probably just use this to go home, this feature mostly. It does have a high battery consumption rate. I'm gonna hit 1 or 2 of those holes I caught those stripers in this morning right now. I really liked my first impression. I did. I do get excited though. Like, I liked my first impression of the Old Town Autopilot a lot, and I still like it. And it's one of those ones that the weight of it keeps me from using it everywhere. This guy, wheeling it around, I did wheel it to the launch this morning. You know, Big Water's about the same as the Outback in the weight department. The drive is heavy on this guy, but I could use it in areas now that I typically avoid using the autopilot. I like this cruise control feature. It's nice at the end of the day. Might use it a lot, might not, we'll see. I like manually taking over when it's, you know, when I want to fish. I don't like manually pedaling against the 2.5 mile an hour tide. But with that feature I was using, it makes some things convenient. All right, guess we'll do a more full detailed review of it after maybe 3-4 goes. But yeah, this is day 1. I liked it. I have a hard time catching gar in the colder months, but the last fish we could try to get is a bowfin. I don't know if we got too many bowfin here, but we might. But that's nice. I'm like relaxing now, getting some energy back. It's this position. I prefer the Mirage drive for that reason for a long period of time. But gaining this, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm talking a tough game. Can't believe I saw some mullet today. Like schools of finger mullet. It's kind of funny as I found myself reaching for my non-existent autopilot remote quite a few times today. All right, I got 2 creeks that meet here. Let's see if we got anything. Chuck a piece of blue crab down there. Blue crab nibble. Oh, we lost him. Nibble on the blue crab though. No idea what that was. Something though. Sure, there's a lot of going to be a lot of smaller cats in here if I stick with these blue crabs. Oh yeah, yes sir. That's a PB right there. It's a PB. Actually, I've never caught really too many large bowfin. They are public enemy #1 in many places. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. All in a day's work. Got an overslot red, maybe 28-inch striper or so. Hell, a bowfin. This is a very, it's not a very well-liked fish by many anglers, but, you know, a couple times a year, it's always fun. See this one YouTuber make clickbait out of this thing, like, you know, every week he's catching a new bowfin. But yeah, that's probably my biggest one of those guys. They are not snakeheads. They are not edible like snakeheads. It's gonna be really cool if it's a red drum here. Oh, it's another bowfin, I think. I think that was another bowfin. Didn't get a good look at him. I have no idea. Yeah, like 1 or 2 of these things are great. These are like prehistoric or native fish. They're actually not that bad size either. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is fun. Catching all the undesirables by some people's standards, but this is just as fun as catching all the other stuff too. Cool. Being a kook, man. Man, talk about a slam today, though. Just missing a black drum. So that's largemouth bass, red drum, striped bass, catfish, bowfin. No. I'm gonna finally lose my first jig for the day. It's a pretty good day though out here. To lose only 1 lure, that's as good as it gets. I think I lost 1 bottom sweeper, 1 jig. All right, And just real brief. So this guy, cable runs into the hole, under my fat butt battery. And I think this is supposed to be the fail safe on this guy. If you hit something really hard, that knob is supposed to shatter into pieces. And yeah, other than that, man, that was a good first impression. Headed in now. Check the video's description, links to everything used. Put a link for those little jig heads too. They're really good for a horizontal presentation. They work well for zoom flukes and other small plastics. So, all right. Thanks for watching, guys. This was a great day. Good day one.